Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews. Don't do unboxings, but we might do a few playthroughs in the near future if you behave yourselves. But today we are going to be looking at a set collection style game. We're going to be looking at Bruno Cafala's Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects. And in this game you will be taking cards from a display. You'll be spending these cards to build Cleopatra's palace in the hope that you will get enough favours from her that will allow you to win the game, you know what I mean? So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules, telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects is still worth your time and bother 19 years after it was first released in 2006. So remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit that those YouTube wankers tell you to do, and we will see you after this. So, Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects. How'd you play this game? So Cleopatra and the blah 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 is a kind of set collection game where you're going to be getting cards from a display and you'll be spending them to build shit, right? On your turn, you're only going to have two different options. You're going to be able to visit the market, or you're going to be able to visit the quarry, yeah? If you visit the market, you will take all of the cards from one of the market stalls. There's going to be 3 of these, yeah? And you'll put them in your hand. The thing is, during setup, you will be splitting the deck of cards in half, and you'll turn one side face up, the other side face down. Then you'll shuffle them together, yeah? So some cards are going to be hidden, some aren't. There is a 10 card hand limit, so if you have got 10 cards in your hand at the end of your turn, then you can choose to do one or two things. You can discard all of the cards that take you over the limit of 10 and take one corruption amulet, or you can keep all of your cards and take one corruption amulet for each card that goes over the 10 limit, yeah? Once you've done this, then you will replenish all of the market stalls with one card, keeping the orientation of the card, right? So the second thing you can do on your turn is you can visit the quarry. You'll get a handy cheat sheet that tells you all the costs of all the building parts you can make, yeah? You have to discard a certain number of cards to build the part of the palace, right? So for instance, if you want to build a column wall, it will cost you 1 artisan, 1 wood and 1 stone, right? Or if you want to build an obelisk, I don't need to build an obelisk because I already have one in my pants. It will cost you 3 artisans, 2 wood and 2 stone, yeah? There's also cards in here that let you take corruption tokens in return for having extra resources, yeah? So you might have to take a corruption token and you'll get 2 wood instead of 1. There's also the mosaic of the gods. You'll take a tile and you'll try and orient it in a way that covers up palm trees. It's going to give you points, and also if they're next to any walls that have been built, you're going to get extra points as well, yeah? But if you can't fit the top tile in a tetramino style thing, then it'll have to be discarded and that'll be out of the game for good. So once you've built your shit, you will take payment for that. You'll stick any corruption in your little cardboard pyramid, and then you will move Cleopatra one space forward. If she gets to the end, the game's over, right? Final thing you're going to do when you visit the quarry, you will roll all the dice that have previously had blank sides on it, and if you roll any onks, you'll add them to the pool of onks, right? And if all of the dice have onks on them, then an offering will have to be made. The way the offerings work is that everyone will take a number of victory point tokens into their hand, and you'll do the usual thing where you'll go rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Everyone will reveal, and the person who bid the most will be able to take 3 corruption from their pyramid, and everyone else will have to take corruption in like a scaling fashion, right? So the next player will take 1, then the next player will take 2 and all that shit, yeah? So a couple of extra things. You can build sanctuaries. You'll have like an Anubis miniature you'll be able to place when you sort of section off part of a garden, yeah, by placing mosaic tiles. And the deck contains some sort of special characters that can break the game, yeah? So like for instance, you might end up with the beggar. You'll have to take 2 corruption, but you'll receive 2 talents, which is victory points, or a single untainted resource card from each player, right? Or you might end up with the budgie smuggler. You'll take 1 corruption token, and if you have more than 10 cards in your hand, you'll be able to keep them all, yeah? And this is fucking huge, yeah? If you ever get to where your budgie smugglers, yeah, it's gonna be massive for you. It's so will the bulge in your pants. That is basically it, yeah? When Cleopatra gets to the gates of her palace, she's gonna wander inside, she's gonna have a look around, say, yeah, you over there, you built the best shit for me, so I'm going to give you a Belgian bun and a packet of wheat crunchies, and that player will be the winner of Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects. So what do we like about Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects? So the first thing that we really like about this is that the production quality for a game that was released in 2006 is off the fucking charts, man. I remember when this was released years ago and I couldn't believe it, yeah. I thought, what the fuck? You got to turn a box upside down, you get plastic shit to put around it. It just blew my mind. And this is like sort of 5 years before Kingdom Death Monster blew Kickstarter wide open with its insane production, yeah. Really, this sort of changed the game a little bit, yeah. And it's a bit strange that this game wasn't that popular, yeah. Maybe that's to do with the fact that it was actually kind of simple. You haven't really seen anything like this, yeah. After this, Days of Wonder sort of started to dissipate its production values. You know, you had games like Relic Runners after this, and okay, you had Shadows over Camelot, yeah, but this was like peak Days of Wonder in terms of production values. And it's just a shame, don't really get board games like this anymore unless you're willing to dump 300-400 quid on a load of Kickstarter shit that you're never going to play. So the second thing that we do like about this is the fact that you have to split the deck of cards, one half face up and one half face down during setup. I'm not sure if this is the first time that mechanic was used, but it's a novel way to create hidden information. And when you are faced with a big line of cards in one of the market stalls, but they're all face down, yeah, it's quite exciting taking a punt just to see what you're going to get, yeah. So the fact that you've got hidden information in the deck, it really does add a sense of tension when you are visiting the market stall. So the final thing that we really like about this is that you don't necessarily have to grab all of the high scoring building parts from the quarry, yeah. Like the obelisks are worth a lot of points if you can get them, but I've won this game by not doing any of that, yeah, by focusing on lots of little things, like especially the mosaics and getting your Anubis figure in the right spot, yeah, waiting for other people to build the walls so you can sneak in there and basically profit off of their hard work, yeah. So there's loads of different ways to get loads of different points in this game, and it's not necessarily the person with the biggest cock or clip that is going to have the most fun here. Don't we like about Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects? So the first thing that we don't like about it, hang on, is that it can be frustrating when what you've been saving for gets swiped by a sneaky little bastard, yeah? For instance, we played this the other day and I made the mistake of trying to save all my cards up so I could get a fucking obelisk, and my mum come in and basically nicked it from right under my nose. And okay, I was left with a big bunch of cards. I had 10 cards in my hand, but when it came to visiting the market stall, I had that conundrum as to whether or not I was going to keep cards or dump them, take corruption or not, yeah, which wasn't very helpful for me. So it can be a little bit frustrating if that happens on a regular occasion. I suppose one of the ways around that is to keep an eye on what one or two people before you in the turn order is doing, because this game goes up to 5. But at the end of the day, you are going to have to take care of your own shit and not worry about other people. And I suppose it's just one of them things when people usurp the shit that you've been saving for like 3 turns or whatever. So the next thing that we don't really like about this game is that the box insert is complete and utter dog shit, yeah. It's a fucking nightmare. I ended up just tossing the whole thing and having it loose in the box, yeah, because stacking up all of the hard plastic pieces and having the tiles loose in the insert is a real fucking pain in the arse, yeah. It takes longer to put this game away than it does to have it out on the table, yeah. For a game as simple as this, it is a fucking ball ache, yeah. So why they decided to have a really shit insert that you have to tuck these little flaps under. I know some of you are used to tucking flaps under different things, but yeah, I just ended up tossing the cover of the insert and just having everything fucking loose in the box flying around, you know what I mean? So the final thing that we don't like about Cleopatra and the Society of the blah 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 is that it may be a little bit too simple for the production quality that you got in the box, yeah. There's a little bit of a mismatch between the grandiose nature of the game, the way that it looks on the table. Everyone who sees this thinks, fucking hell, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's just a game where you take cards and you spend them to build shit. That is basically it, yeah. So is it a case of style over substance yet again? Yes, probably, but that doesn't detract from the fact that the game is fun. It just means that, was it really necessary to go all in with all the fucking plastic shit? I mean, I'm a sucker for gimmicks, yeah, and I'm probably going to say kind of yes, because I do like this game, but I can see some of the criticisms regarding the imbalance between production and gameplay, right? So to summarise, is Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects still worth your time and bother 19 years after it was first released? So we are going to say yes. Bear in mind, we are talking about the original printing from Days of Wonder. We're not talking about the deluxeified edition of this game, which beggars belief really, because this, in my opinion, is a deluxeified version anyway, yeah? Cleopatra and the blah, 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 blah is a stunning looking game that blew us away in 2006. It really still looks a dog's bollocks on the table, doesn't it? It may have been superseded by those Kickstarter behemoths, but there's no denying this raised the bar way back when, and it definitely opened the floodgates for those Kickstarter games that people dump shitloads of money on and then end up selling them on Facebook groups like 12 months afterwards, yeah? The game may be just a little bit too simple for my tastes. It could have done with like an expansion, but that never happened. But there's still a time and a place for games like this, yeah? Sometimes I don't want to sit there learning a fucking 60-page rulebook. I just want to get it out, flop it on the table, and just play a really simple game that looks fucking awesome. I just wish the box insert had been better designed, as it is a fucking ball ache trying to pack this game away without you wanting to punch a hole in plasterboard or kill a small animal. So there you go. That is Cleopatra and the Society of the Architects. Remember, if you are new here, consider subscribing to this channel. If you're not new here, why the fuck haven't you subscribed already? Hit the like button and all that bullshit that fucking YouTube tosspots tell you to do, and we will see you next Tuesday.